Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Gerard Pratt, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Private Andrew Bennett. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors and students on behalf of the following schools. From Queensland, Our Lady of Lourdes Primary School and Stafford State School, Stafford. I invite you all now to please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Students, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through until the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Albert Tutt. Albert Tutt was the third son of George and Annie Tutt of the Adelaide suburb of Mitcham. He attended St Michael's School and then Mitcham Public School. Albert's eldest brother George left home in February 1907 to work in Wilmington. In April of that year, he was killed in a serious bicycle accident. Albert completed his schooling and went on to become a surveyor. In November 1914, Albert's brother Henry enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force. The following year, he was with the 10th Battalion as it was the forefront of the Dawn Landing at Gallipoli in April 1915. Private Henry Tutt was seriously wounded on the first day of Gallipoli and died of his wounds 2 days later. Albert Tutt had not gone to war with his brother. Instead, he was a member of a survey party working out the Eyre Peninsula for several months. When he returned from the expedition, he enlisted joining the 32nd Battalion in December 1915. Private Albert Tutt underwent a brief period of training in Australia before being sent to Egypt. There, the AIF was undergoing a process of reorganisation following the evacuation from Gallipoli. As part of this process, Tutt was transferred to the 48th Battalion. He left Egypt to travel to France and fight on the Western Front in June 1916. He joined his battalion in the field of September of that year. After the heavy fighting at Pozières and Mouquet farm was over. He served throughout the bitterly cold winter of 1916 and 17, rotating in and out of the front line with the 48th Battalion. In April 1917, the 48th Battalion was in front line near French village of Bullecourt. On the 10th of April, the battalion was ordered to attack in conjunction with a new weapon of war, tanks. However, tanks were not yet a reliable weapon, and they arrived so late that the attack was delayed. In the end, the men of the 48th Battalion had to attack in the face of withering rifle and machine gun fire without the tanks, suffering more than 400 casualties as a result. One of these that did not return was Private Albert Tutt. He was officially listed as missing, and an investigation was launched into his fate. In 1917, the German army confirmed that they had recovered Tutt's body after the battle and buried it near the village of Riencourt. His grave was never discovered, and today he is commemorated on the Australian National War Memorial at Villers-Bretonneux. He was 24 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died during the First World War. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Albert Tutt, his brother Private Henry Dawson Tutt, and all those Australians who have given their lives in the service of our nation.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as those that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere, or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, students, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.